Hi, my name is Nicholas Hebert, and we're going to get started with a presentation today about God and education. So some learning objectives, we're going to talk about Augustine of Hippo and who he is, his teaching philosophy, and some application and reflection based on that. So just a little bit about Augustine. He was born in 354 AD to a pagan father and a Christian mother, and due to his mother's prayer life, his father ended up converting back to Christianity, which is great for their family dynamic. A little bit about his early life. He struggled with math, but excelled in English language arts, grammar, vocab, and spelling. But due to some lack of funds when he was younger, he actually had to stop school. But luckily enough, his mother actually found a school in Carthage for him to finish his schooling. And that kind of leads us into our next topic of his teaching philosophy. So I'm going to dive right into this because I find this to be related to me, and I think to many educators. So his top 6 are readiness to learn, environment, clear expectations, student interest and motivation, methods of instruction, and student-teacher relationship. So the first one is readiness to learn. Teachers need to make sure that their students are attentive to what is being taught. So making sure that you are getting the classroom in as much as you can. So I'm a very interactive speaker, as you can tell. So I'm jumping, dancing, singing, getting my kids engaged as much as possible. And that leads us to the environment. Augustine believed that the environment for his teaching need to be conducive to learning. So that means if you need to have flexible seating, you have flexible seating. If you need to have lights dimmed, you have lights dimmed. You make it conducive to their learning environment of the students in your classroom. And then there are clear expectations. So he believed in explicit instruction when teaching that, and it will help students know exactly what's expected of them. So in my classroom, I have a smart board that I have all the things that they have to do for their morning work. And I had to teach them to look up there and explain what each one meant. So now in December, they don't have to ask me questions anymore. It's all explicitly there for them. It's like questions here or there, but so having that explicit instruction is very key to having the students know exactly what you want as the educator. And then student interest and motivation. And I find this to be another major component of the classroom. And I loved what Professor Samuel Smith said in his book. He talked about memorizing facts, and instead of just memorizing them, learning the truth behind the facts, learning the why behind the answer. And I find that so key. And so I live in New York State, and a lot of Common Core, from my experience, is learning the why behind it. So if I have 2 + 2 = 4, I'm teaching my kids why 2 + 2 = 4. And I think it's very interesting because Augustine really loved to find absolute truth, and he thought it was from the Bible that you can find it through absolute truth. So I believe that this is where this teaching philosophy comes from. And I find it really crucial to the learning environment in my classroom, involving the student interest and motivation. And then there's a methods of instruction. So Augustine actually focused on 2 main methods. He used allegories and dialogue, but in our classrooms today, I have to differentiate in my classroom a lot. So I work in a K2 special ed room. So I have 7 different students with very specific needs. And I have to differentiate. For example, I teach foundation. So I differentiate by coloring lines so they know what's the airplane line, what's the ground line, what's the skyline. That's just one differentiation for one student. And there's another student where I have to do the exact opposite. Or there's some where I have to only have half the page covered or have it in different colors. So it's really, this I find goes into a lot of differentiating instruction, and it's all going to depend on the class size, just like Augustine talks about it all depends on class size, aptitude of the student, and their needs, which you can find a lot of times in IEP. And then to end it all off, he believes in the student-teacher relationship, which is so crucial in our classrooms today. And it comes from his relationship with Ambrose. Ambrose was someone that actually converted him to Christianity and baptized him. He had a true relationship with his teacher, actually. And he taught him love and welcomed him with open arms and how to love God and love others. And this is something crucial that needs to be in our classrooms even today, having that relationship with our students. So again, his teaching philosophies were readiness to learn, bringing the students in, getting them engaged, and then talking about the environment, making sure that it's conducive to learning, while also bringing in the clear expectations that you have for each day for your students, while incorporating their interests and motivation in the learning. And with that, differentiating your lessons so that they can learn and grow. And last but not least, having that relationship with your students is so crucial. And I find that this is something that I love, and I love his philosophy, and it's something that I've incorporated in my classroom. And just a little reflection, we're living in a pandemic, and it's really hard to keep the kids engaged. There's a lot of things going on. It's very hard with our families and everything as well. But here's the thing. We as educators need to continually ask ourselves why we're here. Why are we teaching this to our students? And realizing that we're sometimes the only smile that they have. We're sometimes the only motivation or the person that they can go to. And that's where the student-teacher relationship is so crucial. And that's why I love how he kind of ends his teaching philosophy with that. So I just encourage you all to take that into consideration. So thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, you can email me or text me or call me. And these are the resources that I used for my presentation. And this is the resource I used for the presentation itself. Thank you.